ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तमा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Today is our 25th class. You can repeat after me. Vasudevendra Yogindram
Vasudevendra Yogindram
Tvajnanapradam Gurum
Jnanapradam Gurum
Mukshunam Hitarthaya Tattvabodho Bhidhiyate Sadhana Chatushtaya Sampannadikarinam Moksha Sadhana Bhutam Tattva Viveka Prakaram Vakshayamaha Sadhana Chatushtayam Kim Nityavastu Vivekaha Ihamutrartha Palabhoga Viragaha Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi मुमुक्षुत्वं चेति
मुमुक्षुत्वं चेति
नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः कः?
नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः कः
नित्यवस्तु एकं ब्रह्म
नित्यं वस्तु एकं ब्रह्म
तद्व्यतिरिक्तम्
तद्व्यतिरिक्तम्
अन्यत् सर्वम् अनित्यम्
अन्यत् सर्वम्
अनित्यम्
इयम् एव नित्यानित्यवस्तु विवेकः
अयमेव
नित्यानित्यवस्तुविवेकः
And to that now. Can you hear me?
Yes, Guruji.
Yes, Guruji.
Okay.
Yes, Guruji.
The student asked, what is sadhana chatushtayam? Because the word sadhana chatushtayam was used in the line sadhana chatushtaya sampannadikarinam iti. So adhikari purushaha, the one who is the adhikari, the qualified person for the pursuit of this viveka vichara, which is the sadhana, the means for moksha. For the pursuit of moksha, who is the adhikari? The one who is endowed with sadhana chatushtayam is the adhikari. And therefore the question comes now, what is sadhana chatushtayam? Sadhana chatushtayam means, sadhana means the means, the qualifications. Here we can take the meaning of the word sadhana as the qualifications. Therefore, sadhana chatushtayam means what are those fourfold qualifications which are required for a person to be a deserved person to pursue the study of Vedanta. Vedanta is vichara, inquiry into the statements of the Upanishad in keeping with the Sampradaya. The Sampradaya as a prakriya, as a method to unfold the meaning, the hidden meaning of the statements of the Upanishad, Vedanta. Therefore, the person must be an adhikari. He must be an adhikari to pursue the study of Shastram. To pursue the study of Shastram for what? For moksha. Therefore, for moksha, who is the adhikari? The one who has his fourfold qualifications is the adhikari. And what are those fourfold qualifications if you ask? Nityanitya vastu vivekaha, ihamutrata palabhoga viragaga, samadhi shatka sampattihi, and mumukshutvam. Iti, four things were told by the Guru. The first one is viveka. Second one, viraga. Third one is sixfold wealth, samadhi shatka sampatti. And the last one, mumukshutvam. Again, all these are words. All these are words. So, therefore, the Shishya will get doubt. These are words, but what do they mean? Therefore, is asked the next question, Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha Kaha Iti. What is this Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka? The first qualification. Viveka meaning discrimination. Vastu, nitya vastu, anitya vastu. Viveka meaning discrimination. Discrimination is required when things are, two or more things are mixed up and taken one thing to be the other. Because of the confusion, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Guruji, now we
Yes,
can hear.
Guruji.
In between, we lost your connection.
There was power interruption. Okay. You can see the PowerPoint. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yeah, we can.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, Nitya Vastu Viveka. I was telling that Nitya Vastu, Anitya Vastu. Two things are there. Two things are mixed up. Therefore, Viveka. Therefore, inquiry is required. Viveka, Vichara is required. And what is Nitya Vastu? Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma. Nitya Vastu is Ekam Brahma. Brahma is the Nitya Vastu. Tad Vyatiriktam Sarvam Anityam. Everything else other than Brahma is Anitya. This is called, this understanding born of Viveka, the inquiry. This understanding is born of only the inquiry, the vichara. You have to do the vichara to understand this. Therefore, the result of the viveka is the understanding or the separation of the nitya vastu, the separation in terms of understanding, the cognition. Cognitively, you understand what is nitya and what is anitya. That is the result of this inquiry, viveka, vichara. Why do we need to do this inquiry? Because we are searching for that which gives unlimited, limitless, unlimited happiness, ananda. We all are in search of sukham. Every pursuit of us is for gaining this sukha. Sukha or comfort or security, whatever name you give, but it is what we seek. Through all our actions, through all our pursuits, what we seek is that which will make me happy. When all the time, which will make me happy, comfortable all the time, which will give me security all the time. There will not be any sense of want. That is what I want. That is what everyone really needs, really wants. Everybody is after that only. Therefore, people pursue dharma, artha, kama, iti, different purusharthas which the Veda reveals. Veda says there are 4 purusharthas: dharma, artha, kama, and the last one is moksha. Moksha we will come to moksha later. But dharma, artha, kama are the main pursuits which every human being seeks. Through dharma, what you want to achieve? Through dharma, you want to gain that gaining which there you will be free from the sense of want, sense of limitation. It is really freedom is what we seek through Dharma Purushartha. Similarly, Artha Purushartha. Similarly, Kama Purushartha. So, through the pursuit of Dharma, Artha, Kama Purushartha, what we seek is only freedom. The freedom from the sense of wanting, freedom from the sense of the limitation, freedom from the sense of insecurity. That is what is we seek. But does the freedom from insecurity lies in the end achieved through this Purushartha? That has to be analyzed. That has to be inquired into. If it gives you that freedom, then gaining which you should be happy forever. But that doesn't happen. But that doesn't happen because what you seek is freedom. That is the ultimate thing. What you seek is limitlessness. And to gain that limitless, you are doing a variety of actions. You are doing a variety of actions without knowing that actions are limited. Actions are always limited. That which is limited cannot produce that which is unlimited. That which is limited cannot produce that which is unlimited. Cannot produce that which doesn't depend on time, which is timeless. You cannot gain the timelessness through action. Action cannot produce it. Action cannot produce that which is timeless. Brahma is Nitya Vastu. It is timeless. It is eternal. If you can use the word eternal. It is timeless, not bound by time. That is called Nitya. Nitya is that which is not subject to time. It means it doesn't have birth. It doesn't have death. Anything. Any object, any Vastu you take, it has the time of origin, it has a time of dissolution. It goes away. It fades away after some time. Any object in the world you take, it is born, stays for some time, then it is gone. So the time of birth, the time of coming into existence in a particular form, and the time it leaves that form. That is the period. It is bound by time. It is bound by time and bound by space. Therefore, it cannot be Nitya. All the experiences what we have in the world, it is all time-bound experience with regard to time-bound objects. And therefore, through karma, which is limited, what you can gain is that which is bound by time. You cannot gain that timeless through karma. Because that which is timeless, that which is not bound by time, cannot be produced. Why? Because it is there all the time. When it is there all the time, how can you produce it? Therefore, Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma, that Brahma is not Utpadyam. It is not produced. You cannot create it. You cannot make it. And that Nitya Vastu Brahma, Brahma means that which is limitless, which is free from this, which is free from insecurity, which is free from unhappiness, which is free from any sense of want, that which is Brahma, that cannot be produced. It is not Utpadya Vishaya. Therefore, the karma, which is bound by time, has got limitation. So therefore, you have to do the vichara of the dharma, artha, kama, purushartha. This through dharma, artha, kama, since all these purusharthas, the word purushartha itself says that human effort is involved. Human effort is involved. Since effort is involved and effort, the karma is limited, Therefore, what you achieve by dharma, artha, kama is also going to be limited. Therefore, you cannot gain that nitya vastu brahma through karma. You cannot gain that limitlessness, freedom from karma. If you are seeking freedom through karma, it will be an eternal search. There will be no end to it. Janma after janma, you will be keep on searching for that because it cannot be produced. It is there forever. It is there. Therefore, how can you produce it? It is Siddha Vastu. It is Sat Brahma, Sat, which is ever existent. Therefore, it cannot be produced. That which is limitless, can it be produced? If limitless can be produced, then that cannot be limitless. When you say limitless, that which is limitless can be only one. There cannot be two limitless. There cannot be more than one limitless thing. Not possible. If there is another one, that is going to limit. A thing is limited by the presence of another thing. That is what is called Dvaitam, is duality. Our problem is this duality, this Dvaita Bhavana. This Dvaita is the problem. Because there is another thing, therefore there is a sense of fear in me. The fear is because of the second thing. Dvaitadhi bhayam bhavati. Because of the second, there is a fear. If there is only one, that is me, Brahma, then there will not be fear. And that is the knowledge, that is the understanding, and that is the ultimate pursuit, Parama Purushartha, that is Moksha Purushartha. That is what really we want, we seek. But because of ajnanam, because of not knowing, or because of no vichara, no thinking, no inquiry, we try to gain that limit Purushartha, Dharma, Artha, Kama, which are nothing but karma. Which are nothing but the karma. Okay, can I make the limited? Can I make the limited unlimited? Is it possible? What is limited? It will be limited forever. The limited cannot be made into unlimited by any change. Any change you do through karma. It is not possible. Any change you bring it, it will continue to be a limited thing only. Any change you make to the body the shariram is going to decay. Kshiryamana subhavatvat shariram. That is the nature of shariram. Shariram is born. The body comes into existence. It stays, it grows. First it is born, then continue to exist. It grows, undergo changes. All the parinama happens and slowly started decaying, and one day it dies. The body is bound by time. It is bound by time. Therefore, is it nityam or anityam? It is anityam. But over this body, we have got so much abhimana, and we want to make it, we want to make the body nitya. Make the body nitya means I want to live forever. Nobody wants to die. Because they have got abhimana over this body, and the nature of the body is to undergo change and perish one day, but we want to make it nitya, which is not possible. The body being what it is, therefore, it is going to perish. It is every day. In fact, it is every day, every moment it changes. That is the nature of the body. It changes every moment. And the final change is death, maranam. So therefore, this body which swabhava is continuous change, it cannot be nitya. Nitya is that which is not subject to change. That which is not subject to change, which is not subject to time, means it is not subject to change. Therefore, this body is anitya. This body is anitya. And this anitya, through this anitya shariram, what we try to gain through our karma, since it is anitya and it is limited, therefore, whatever we gain through the action accomplished through body, mind, senses, it's all going to be limited. What is gained through body, through karma, because body, that is kaika karma, or any karma accomplished through body, the application of this body, mind, senses, it's going to be limited only. The limited cannot give you unlimited. And therefore, now, if this is limited, and we are talking about Nitya Vastu, the unlimited, which is infinite, that freedom, how are you going to gain that? It is not going to be gained. If it is going to be gained, then it is going to be lost. It is not going to be gained. Therefore, it is there forever. It has to be recognized. It has to be recognized. That recognition is called gaining. We use the word, Shastram uses the word gaining. Prapnoti, apnoti, iti. But we have to understand, when we do the translation of those words, we have to understand properly. When it is prapnoti, apnoti, when we say, it is not the sense of gaining physically. It is gaining cognitively, understanding. It is not gaining anything physically. Dharmartha, kama, mokshartha, they involve karma and gaining things physically. There is a physical gaining. There is a physical gaining involved. All these are apara vishaya. All these are apara vishaya, aparavidya. Whereas the nitya vastu ekam brahma, which is already gained, but we don't know that ajnanam, because of ajnanam, it is not recognized. Therefore, it is not really gaining something new. It is gaining the already gained, accomplishing the already accomplished. It is siddha vishaya. It is already a fact, accomplished fact. Now we have to recognize it. Recognize the nitya vastu ekam, the Brahma, that which is myself. In the beginning, we don't know. Brahma is that which is limitless. We want to be Brahma, that limitless. Fine. Now, that limitless cannot be gained. That is the understanding is required at this stage. What is Brahma? That we will inquire later. But at this level of vichara, we have to understand that there is nitya vastu, which is Brahma, and that is not accomplishable by any action. Because if it is accomplished in time, then it cannot be Brahma. Brahma being limitless, it cannot be accomplished. It is siddha vastu. Therefore, nitya vastu is only one, and that is Brahma. Anything other than that, everything is anityam. If that is only one, what about the other things? There is no question of other things. Everything else also Brahma. And that is what we are going to see. That is what the Shastram is going to unfold. Because we see many things, therefore we have to say, Vyatiriktam sarvam, sarvam vyatiriktam, other than that. There is nothing other than that. There is no second thing to Brahma. Nitya vastu, when you say nitya vastu, it can be only one. There is no second, one without a second. That is why we say there is only God. We don't say there is only one God even. Because we don't have problem having different forms of God. That's not a problem. A God can be given different forms to our liking, and we can offer puja. That is a different thing. God can be given different forms. Different forms doesn't mean there are different gods. What is there is only God. Not even one God, only God. Only Brahma alone is there. Therefore, when only Brahma is there, then how can you say other than that? We say in the beginning, because in the beginning we have the understanding of one and the many. Therefore, we have to say. Later you will see that many also will be reduced into that only one. Therefore, this understanding, this discriminative understanding of the things of the world is called Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. And the important thing is understanding that Dharmartha Kama Purushartha, through this Purushartha, what we try to gain is the moksha. Therefore, how many Purusharthas possible? There is only one Purushartha. Through Dharma, Artha, Kama, what I try to gain is only moksha. Therefore, that is a Parama Purushartha. And the goal of Parama Purushartha is recognizing that Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma. For that, our sadhana, the means, starts with the inquiry. Inquiry into the Nitya Vastu and Anitya Vastu. We need this inquiry. Therefore, Viveka stands for the clarity of thinking clearly, thinking very clearly that there are no many Purushartha. In fact, what I seek through different Purushartha is only one, that Nitya Vastu, Brahma only, because it is freedom. I seek only freedom. I want freedom from the sense of want, sense of insecurity. That is what I seek. Therefore, what I seek is only the moksha. This Viveka is called Purushartha Viveka. This Viveka, this understanding is called Purushartha Viveka. Understanding that moksha is what I seek through all the Purushartha. If this understanding is there, seeking dharma will not be a problem. Seeking kama will not be a problem. Seeking artha will not be a problem. There is no problem with regard to the seeking of dharma, artha, kama. Living in the world, we need wealth, we need money, and we have got some legitimate desires to be fulfilled, and we want dharma. Dharma can be values or punyam. We want to gain punyam. Living in the world, all these things are justifiable. We want. There is no condemnation of these Purushartha. Even desires are also encouraged. Human beings are the only beings have the privilege of desiring. Therefore, it is not subject to criticism. Bhagavan Krishna himself says, Dharma aviruddha kamaha agamasmi iti in Gita. He says very clearly, that kama which is not opposed to dharma, that is me, that is legitimate desire, that is me. Bhagavan Krishna says, therefore, we don't condemn this Purushartha, but understanding that through all this Purushartha, what I try to gain is that Parama Purushartha, which is moksha, which is Bhagavan Nityavastu Ekam Brahma. This thinking, that is called Purushartha Viveka. This inquiry, understanding is called Purushartha Viveka. And that is presented here as Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka. Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka is understanding clearly that clarity of thinking is what is implied here. So, therefore, when you have the clear thinking, then you will not be carried over by your emotions. When you are emotional, you don't think. When you think, you are not emotional. The rational thinking involves no emotions. No emotions. That's why we talk about emotional intelligence. So when you think rationally, you will not be carried over by your feelings, the emotion for a thing, and you will not color You will not color the things. You will not give more value than what it deserves. That is what I mean, the coloring. You value a certain thing in life. You value a certain thing in life. Why do you value? Because you think that is a source of happiness or comfort or security, whatever it may be. But does it really have that value? Does it really has that? If you think without getting emotionally attached to it, you will find it is not. That which you think is a source of happiness, if you inquire into that, you will find that it is you who had some coloring to it. Thinking rationally, you will find that it is not the source of happiness. It cannot be the source of your security. Then who is the source of happiness and security? It is Brahma. That which is Nitya Vastu, that only can be the source of the security, happiness, freedom. Then what is that Brahma? That is what the Shastra is going to unfold. That Brahma is you. That Brahma is you. That part will come later, we will see. But now we need to understand this, that Nitya Vastu Ekam Brahma is there. And therefore, to understand this, since the things are mixed up, therefore we need to have the Viveka, the Vichara to be done. And for this, doing this Viveka, you must have a clear thinking, free from any emotions, not carried over by any emotions, any excessive attachment. Therefore, when you have this Viveka, the resultant of this Viveka will be Vairagya. The resultant of this Viveka will be the Vairagya. You will have certain objectivity. You will have certain objectivity with regard to the things, objects, or the persons or the situations in the world. Certain objectivity you will have. That is going to be the next qualification which we can read. Viragaha kaha. Iha svarga bhogeshu ichharahityam.
Iha swarga bhogeshu
ichharahityam.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, Guruji.
Okay. You have a script with you, what is sent to the PDF file. This. Can you see the PowerPoint? It's Viraga Kaha.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I sent you the PDF file that also you can take a printout.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
So Viraga Kaha, second, the qualification. Viraga literally means dispassion. Mute your mic, please. Viraga Kaha. The simple translation, Viraga Kaha. Viraga means Icha Rahityam. That is called Viraga. Icha means desire. Rahityam, absence of. Absence of desire. Desire for what? Iha Svarga Bhogeshu. Iha Bhogeshu, Swarga Bhogeshu. Two things are that. Bhoga means enjoyment. Iha Bhogeshu. Iha means here, referring to this world. Iha, the word Iha means Avyaya. It is an Avyaya. It means this world, the world where we live. Swarga is a world where we go after Maranam. The place we reach after Maranam, it's called Swarga, out of Punya. Whatever Punya we gain, because of that Punya, we go to that Loka. And that Loka we encash our Punya and enjoy Sukham. Bhoga. Bhoga means enjoyment. Therefore, Iha Bhogeshu, Swarga Bhogeshu. With regard to the enjoyment here and hereafter, with regard to that, Icharagityam, the absence of the desire, the longing Longing, absence of longing for the enjoyments which are obtained in this loka as well as in the loka we reach after maranam. That is called viraga. Viragasya bhava, it is called vairagya. Viragasya bhava is called vairagya. Here, Iccharagityam, you have to note the absence of desire. Absence of desire. When you have understood there is only Nitya Vastu, Ekam Brahma, Tad Vyatiritam Sarvam Anityam, if that understanding is clear, then out of that understanding, what is born is Viraha. Because the enjoyment which are gained in this loka as well as in the other loka, is it going to be Nitya? It cannot be Nitya because Nitya Vastu is Ekam Brahma. It is not going to be Nitya. When it's not going to be Nitya, then will you go for it? You will have certain objectivity, certain dispassion towards the objects of enjoyments of the objects of this world as well as in the other world. That is called Viraga. Therefore, Viraga is the result of the inquiry, the Viveka. Viveka born. Viraga, Vairagya. Iti. Viraga we translate as dispassion. Dispassion doesn't mean you have hatred for things. No. Vairagya or Viraga doesn't mean hatred. It doesn't mean hatred. Hatred for the things. The things are being what they are. You have the understanding of it. You don't add any extra value to it. Understanding as it is, they are understanding the limitation of the things and accepting as they are. You don't expect too much from it or too less from it. It is what they are. It is what they can give you. Any object in the world, being what they are, it is you who add the extra value to it. That is called Shobhana Adhyasa. That is called Shobhana Adhyasa. You have value for money. The money is nothing but the printed notes, currency. You think to be wealthy is to have money. So your idea of wealth is connected to the printed notes, the currencies. The one who have more currencies, that person is the wealthy. We think. That is called Adhyasa. That is our superimposition of adding the value which the money doesn't have. We add that value, our imaginary value, to the currency. But they cannot give you all that you want. You may have money, but if you are in the middle of a desert, you will not get even a glass of water. You may be wealthy, but at that time, for survival, what you need is just a glass of water. And the person who has a glass of water to quench thirst in the middle of the desert, and the person who has a lot of money, who is wealthy at this point, the person who has water, who has things to survive. Therefore, if you have necessary, essential things to survive, then you are wealthy. But what we do is we superimpose the idea, the person who has money in the form of currencies, we take to be a wealthy person. That is called Adhyasa, superimposition. And Shobhana Adhyasa. We give more value to money and therefore we go after it. There is no clarity in that. So therefore, if you have Viveka, you will give importance to the money as much it deserves. Nothing more, nothing less. Money as buying power, no doubt about it. It gives you the capacity to buy things. That power money has. Nobody denies that. Now, if you have this understanding, then you will be objective towards wealth also. You will have certain objectivity. This is what it gives me. Yes, that objectivity, that is what is viraga is. It is not hatred. It is not also suppression. It is also not suppression of your desires. By suppression, it is going to manifest in a big way and destroy the person. So it is not even suppression. If the desires are there and if it is can be accomplished legitimately, then it can be accomplished. It should be accomplished. That the Shastra approves. Shastra sanctions that. There is no problem in accomplishing the legitimate desires to the legitimate means. Therefore, you need not have the pressure to suppress it also. You need, if you suppress it for a long time, then even the legitimate desires, thinking that it is going to bind you or it is going to put you in problem, even if you suppress it for a long time, then it will find the illegitimate means to manifest. So therefore, one has to handle the pressure. If you have the capacity or the capability to handle the desires without suppressing it and fulfilling it in the way the Shastram suggests, then it is all right, it is fine. And not giving extra value to the things. That is called Vairagya. So Vairagya is neither suppression, Vairagya is neither hatred. It is looking at the things as they are, the objectivity, that is called Vairagya. But Shastram presents Icharagityam, because we give extra importance to the objects of enjoyment of this world. Nowadays we don't bother about this, the enjoyments in the Swargaloka, because nobody believes, or people who are into this Vaidika, they only believe that Loka after death. Whether Loka is there or not, we'll go to Swargaloka or not, that we don't have to worry. Let it be there, no problem. Not be there, that is also not problem. But in this Loka, while I live, I am after so many things, desiring to gain pleasure, desiring to gain comfort, security. But does it give that really? That inquiry has to be done. That inquiry already done through Viveka, and born of Viveka, now you have certain objectivity towards that thing. That is called Vairagya. So therefore, Vairagya is not the aversion, not the aversion. If you have aversion for it, then it will cause after some time depression. So therefore, the Vairagyam has to be a matured Vairagyam. If it is born because of the hatred, then it is called Jihasa Vairagyam. Vairagyam, if it is born of hatred, then it is a Jihasa Vairagyam. Jihasa means Hatma Icha Jihasa, the desire to give. There is a pressure to give. There is a suppression. There is a suppression to give up. So, when the person has Jihasa Vairagyam, he will try to run away from the world. But where can he run away? Being in the world, yeah, if he runs, he can run from one place to another place. Within the world only he can run. So he cannot get out from the world. So therefore, it is not running away from the world. That is what Arjuna also wanted in the beginning. He wanted to give up his Rajyam and doesn't want to fight, and he wants to take up sannyasa, wants to go to Rishikesh. But Krishna, at the right time, Arjuna asked for knowledge and Krishna gave him and made him understand. So it is not running away. Running away will not solve the problem. Therefore, it is not Jihasa Vairagyam, and also it is not Smashana Vairagyam. Smashana means the cremation ground. It's a cremation ground where the bodies are cremated. Seeing the cremation, seeing the person, seeing the death and the person being cremated in the Smashana, you think suddenly you get Vairagya. Suddenly you get vairagya. What is there? Everything is only for a short while. So you think that we came to the world and we just leave the world, not carrying anything with us. So what do we do in the world? That vairagya overpowers you and you want to leave away things and run away. But how long this vairagya will stand? That vairagya is born because of what you saw in the previous form. But once you go back to your house after some days, maybe this vairagya may last for maybe 1 or 2 days or maybe for a week. But after some days, then this vairagya also will disappear. Slowly, the desires will creep in, and the desire to live and desire to pursue the pleasures of the world will manifest. So this Smashana Vairagya also, it is a short time. It is lasts only for a short time Vairagya. That is not the Vairagya we talk about. We don't talk about the Jihasa Vairagya. We don't talk about the Smashana Vairagya. And also we don't talk about the Prasuti Vairagya. Prasuti Vairagya is another Vairagya which a mother feels when the child is delivered. When the mother delivers a child, the mother knows how much pain she has to undergo. That pain is unbearable pain. With unbearable pain, the mother delivers a child. That time, whatever the vairagya she has, that is called prasuti vairagya. Again, that also will last only for a short time. Moment the baby is born and baby is brought up, then that vairagya also disappears. Therefore, all these vairagya, whether it is Smashana Vairagya or Jigasa Vairagya, Prasuti Vairagya, these are not real Vairagya. These Vairagyas have got some background, born of either frustration or depression or rejection. And the person who runs away because of Vairagya and takes to sannyasa, then that person later will face problem. It will be a problem for himself and problem for the society also. Therefore, that Vairagya we are not talking about. What we are talking about here is the objectivity. That is, not mistaking an object for something else and go for it. That is what the Vairagya we are talking about. The total objectivity with regard to the things, the person, the situations of the world. That is called Vairagya. If you are holding on to something emotionally, that indicates the lack of Vairagya. That indicates the lack of Vairagya. And when you hold on to this money, position, or people, it means you don't have objectivity to it. You don't have objectivity to it. Therefore, lack of objectivity results in the lack of Vairagya. So therefore, to get Viveka, we have to live with a proper attitude and gain certain clarity of thinking, clarity of mind. And out of Viveka is born the Vairagya. Vairagya is objectivity with regard to the experiences what we gain in the world. So therefore, this Viveka and Vairagya both are very important qualities for a spiritual aspirant. If these qualities are there, then only we can talk about the next qualities. These qualities the person has to discover in himself. That person is an Adhikari Purusha. That person is the Adhikari. So therefore, Vairagyam is the second important qualification, which is very important. Then the next one is, the next qualification in the list is Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi. That we can repeat. Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi Ka.
Shamadhi Shatka Sampattihi Ka.
Shamaha. Damaha.
Damaha.
Uparamaha.
Uparamaha.
तितिक्षा
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 श्रद्धा
श्रद्धा
श्रद्धाः
समाधानं च इति
समाधानं च इति
Unmute your mic. Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi Ka. Sampattihi is Strilinga, therefore Ka. Sadhana Chatushtayam, it is Napumsakalinga, therefore Kim. Sadhana Chatushtayam Kim. Vivekaha is Pullinga, therefore Nitya Nitya Vastu Vivekaha Kaha iti. Here Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi Ka. So Sampattihi, Sampatti means wealth. Dhanam. Samadhi Shatka Sampattihi. Samadhi sadhana. Sadhana is here the means. The means, Shama, etc. A group of 6 that is called Shatkam. A group of 6 which begins with Shama. A group of 6 which begins with Shama, and they are the wealth. What are they? Iti, the Shishya as a teacher. Then the teacher enumerates Shamaha, Damaha, Uparamaha, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam, Chayiti. How many are there? Shama, Dama, Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhanam. Still 6 things are there. These 6 things are put together is called Samadhi Shatkam. It is Shama, not Sama. It is Shama. Talavya Shakara. Now, these are just the words, the names. What do we understand from this? Therefore, since the Shishya doesn't understand what they mean, the next question naturally will be, what is this Shama? What is this Dhamma? What is this Uparama, Titiksha, Shraddha, Samadhana, iti? The student is going to ask. We will read that. Shamaha kaha,
Shamaha
Shamaha
Mano nigragaha,
Mano Nigraha
Damaha kaha,
Damaha
Kaha
Chakshuradi Indriya Nigragaha,
Shuradi Indriya Nigraha
Paramaha kaha,
Paramaha Kaha
Swadharmashtanam eva,
Swadharmanushtanameva
Titiksha ka,
Titiksha
Titikshaka
Shitoshna Sukha Dukkhadi Savishnutvam,
Sitoshna Sukha Dukkhadi
Dukkadi
Sahishnutvam
Sahishnutvam
Shraddha Kidrishi,
Shraddha
Kidashi
Guru Vedanta Vakyeshu Vishwasaha Shraddha,
Guru Vedanta
Vakyeshu
Vakyeshu Vishwasaha
Vishwasaha Shraddha
Samadhanam Kim,
Samadhanam Kim
Kim
Chittaikagrata,
Chittaikagrataha
Chitta Ekagrata is called Chittaikagrata. Oneness, that is 1.10ness. Okay. Shamaha kaha, what is Shama? So Shishya asks. The Guru says, Mano Nigraha. Similarly, Damaha kaha, Chakshuradi Indriya Nigraha iti. For every question, the teacher answers in one line or one word answer. But it is not one word answer. We have to see a lot. We have to interpret each answer in detail. We will see that. We will see that in the next class. And also we will see more, talk about more on Vairagyam. That also we will do in the next class. So we stop here. Om Purnamadav Purnamidham Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
नमः
Harihi Om.
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
धन्यवादः गुरुजी।
धन्यवाद गुरुजी।
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರುಜಿ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
धन्यवादः।